Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers offer loving care for survivors of the recent Yunnan earthquake. We see how residents who lost loved ones in the Penghu plane crash transform their grief into strength to help others. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. Although it has been nearly a month since the underground gas explosions in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to provide vegetarian meals to blast survivors. Among those who have received Tzu Chi's hot meals is the Yang family. Mr. Yang says going meatless for days has helped him discover the benefits of vegetarianism. But first, we meet Tzu Chi volunteer Wu Binghui, who has insisted on contributing his time despite suffering health problems.
Holding a sign that says vegetarianism brings blessing is Tzu Chi volunteer Wu Binghui, who has been delivering hot meals to blast survivors in Kaohsiung for days. 2 years ago, Wu discovered that he has developed symptoms similar to those of ALS. Following the gas blast, regardless of his illness, Wu still insisted on helping.
I'm getting skinnier and am not as physically active as before. My mobility is getting worse day by day. I hardly have the strength to push and pull.
Worrying about Wu's health, at first many volunteers asked him to take it easy. However, Wu Binghui's determination to help those in greater need never faltered. He says the smile of the survivors gave him the strength to carry on.
The blast survivors are extremely touched when they receive vegetarian meals from Tzu Chi. Some decide to become Tzu Chi members, while others express their gratitude when they see us.
Finding the meaning of life through giving and knowing that he may not be able to move in the future, Wu Binghui vows to seize every moment of his life to benefit others. Following the gas explosions in Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi volunteers and the Yang family have become good friends.
I feel more at ease because of the warmth and strength I have received from the volunteers. I've been going meatless for some 10 days now because the meals provided by Tzu Chi are vegetarian. I think it is a good way to garner blessings. I'm very thankful to Tzu Chi. Before, I could only eat one lunch box, but now I need to eat two.
Besides bringing warmth and love to the blast survivors through hot meals, the volunteers' encouraging words have also given them courage.
The volunteers gave us warm hugs when we needed it most. They helped us let go of our emotions and pressure.
Tzu Chi volunteers are always around here, at least twice a day. They've been providing our family with hot meals twice a day. Besides offering meals, they also take time to chat with us. Thanks to the volunteers, I don't feel lonely anymore. I'm always thankful when I see the volunteers because they are so kind.
Thanks to Tzu Chi, the Yang family has regained the courage to stand on their own 2 feet again because they know the road to recovery is not so lonely anymore.
In China, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake on August 3rd toppled buildings and caused massive destruction in Yunnan's Luodian County. Those who sustained injuries were transported to large hospitals in Kunming City. Tzu Chi volunteers quickly mobilized to provide care, and a kind-hearted Chinese teacher also volunteered his time to tutor injured children at the hospital, helping them stay on top of their studies during this time.
With huge knots in her hair and back pain from being bedridden for so long, volunteers help relieve this woman of her discomfort.
Doesn't your hair feel softer now?
You have the smell of a newborn baby. Really, why do you smell like that?
Gently massaging away the stiffness in her hands, volunteers care for the 17-year-old girl like their own daughter. Hospitalized with severe injuries, now 2 weeks later, her stitches are finally removed. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake jolted Yunnan's Luodian County at the beginning of August. Many children injured during the quake worry they will fall behind in their studies. Chinese teacher Chen Guoxue is volunteering his time to tutor these kids in the hospitals.
On the other side of the Pacific, in the United States, Tzu Chi volunteers recently carried out an aid distribution and free dental clinic at the Alice Griffith Complex, a housing community in San Francisco, California. Enduring the chilly wind, Tzu Chi volunteers began preparations early in the morning.
Early in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteers are preparing for an aid distribution in Alice Griffith, one of the poorest communities in San Francisco.
因为这一些家庭啊都是穷的。
Because most of the families here are poor and don't have enough food to eat, so as we shopped for food at the food bank, we look for items that are ready to eat and don't require cooking.
方便他们吃的，不用煮的。
A free dental clinic was also set up and ready by 10 o'clock. However, people only started to show up at about 11 a.m. Among them included a 9-year-old boy who was getting his teeth cleaned for the first time, and Daniel King, who became really nervous after learning that he needed a dental extraction.
My first time getting my dental work. Me and my kids, I got 2 sets of twins and a 14-year-old, and we here to keep our teeth clean and keep on brushing them.
If she doesn't take care of the front tooth, the infection will go up to her brain, and then it'll cause a big damage. So this is something new for her to learn.
Growing up in Alice Griffith, Marita knows her neighborhood very well and is volunteering herself. Tzu Chi volunteers also took the chance to explain the concept of daily contribution to charity to police officers of the community, hoping more people will be inspired to practice compassionate giving.
In Myanmar, the heavy downpours around early August has sparked floods in the Bago region. After conducting a survey and packing relief goods, Tzu Chi volunteers once again returned to the area to organize aid distributions. Local volunteers also joined the aid distribution as part of their volunteer training course.
At the Tzu Chi Myanmar Liaison Office, nearly 100 volunteers have gathered to attend a volunteer training seminar. During the event, Tzu Chi volunteers explained to trainees the situation in Bago following the recent floods. To help trainees better understand the importance of cherishing their blessings, Tzu Chi volunteers decided to have them be a part of a relief distribution in the Bago region. Although it has been weeks since the Bago floods, many homes are still inundated by water. However, the treacherous terrain doesn't diminish the volunteers' determination to help.
Don't be sad. Everything is in the past now. All of us are here to care for you.
Upon seeing the arrival of the volunteers, one flood survivor who gave birth before the floods burst into tears. As the waters swept away her home, she and her family now find shelter at a nearby temple. Thankfully, Tzu Chi is here to help.
All of us like to do good deeds, so we happily joined Tzu Chi without a second thought, especially since we are helping out our fellow countrymen.
Among those helping out is volunteer Da San Ding, who comes from Bago. To help her fellow countrymen on the date of the distribution, Da San Ding and her family and friends showed up to lend a hand.
We have gathered everyone's strength to contribute to this good cause.
For places that rowboats cannot reach, volunteers travel on foot to deliver much-needed daily necessities and consolation cash to flood survivors.
I think it was a great opportunity when we visited the flood survivors. We heard a lot of touching stories. Although many flood survivors are receiving help from Tzu Chi, they promise to become givers in the future. We were extremely moved to hear that.
Although the Bago floods have affected many residents' lives, it also reminded them that this world is full of love and warmth.
Tzu Chi volunteers recently held another of their monthly aid distributions at the Guanshan Tzu Chi Hospital. And with the Mid-Autumn Festival coming up soon, Taidong Tzu Chi volunteers also brought mooncakes, apples, and Tzu Chi's instant noodles to more than 50 care recipients living in and around the Guanshan areas.
Apples, Tzu Chi's instant noodles, and mooncakes for the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival are being packed by Tzu Chi volunteers, who will then distribute them to care recipients living in and around Guanshan. At the monthly aid distribution at the Xiamen Tzu Chi Hospital, volunteers encourage participants to respect life and think good thoughts through watching a video.
For example, when we see ants in the kitchen, we don't have to kill them. Instead, we can simply use a broom to move them away.
Tzu Chi volunteers have been looking after Mr. Ling, who became a care recipient due to a work injury 10 years ago.
Tzu Chi volunteers have taken good care of me for many years. I wish the Dharma brothers and sisters good health and a good life.
Tzu Chi volunteers are giving their early blessings before the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival and hope that their prayers will bring peace in other regions of the world as well.
In our next report, we meet Penghu resident Ma Zhiqiang, who lost his beloved wife and son in the Trans-Asia Airways plane crash on July 23rd. Let us now take a look at how Ma has learned to live in peace after losing his family to the tragedy, and furthermore, what inspired him to transform his grief into strength to help those in need.
Attending Tzu Chi's 7th lunar month blessing ceremony with his mother, 40-year-old Ma Zhiqiang is still mourning the loss of his wife and 13-year-old son. Now, Ma is focusing all his energies on taking care of his mother.
有时间的话，我是会穿你。
那这段时间都特别带妈妈来，对不对？
对，心比较能放得开。
Seeing images of the plane crash being played on the screen, Ma Zhiqiang and his mother can no longer hide their sadness.
I miss my grandson and daughter-in-law. From now on, it's just my son and me. Putting their hands together in prayer, the mother-son pair sincerely chant the Buddha's name. Since losing their loved ones, it has been the volunteers who have been by the family's side, offering support and comfort through this most difficult of times. Arriving at the Ma home, one can see from the many certificates on the wall, Ma Chen-chun Mei's long commitment to charity. The volunteers' unwavering kindness has also inspired Ma Zhiqiang to adopt a new outlook on life. Before, he would just sit in front of the TV when he was done with his meals. Now he takes it upon himself to wash the dishes after meals, mops the floor, and takes out the garbage.
Ma Zhiqiang no longer sheds tears while standing at his wife and son's altar. He says instead he will keep them in his heart and wear the blue and white Tzu Chi uniform as he walks the Bodhisattva path.
I will turn my pain into strength and help those in need.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Penang, Malaysia, recently visited 59 low-income residents of Hong Seng Estate, which is a suburb near Georgetown, to offer them vegetarian lunchboxes as a way to promote a meatless diet in the lunar July. Meanwhile, in the United States, California and Texas Tzu Chi volunteers both promoted adopting vegetarian diets to participants of their respective blessing ceremonies. Demonstrating vegetarian dishes, Oakland Tzu Chi volunteers are promoting a meatless diet to members of the public. Responding by pledging meatless meals, local residents either stick a yellow leaf, a green leaf, or an apple on the branches as a promise to eat 1, 2, or 3 vegetarian meals a day. To celebrate the 7th lunar month, East Los Angeles Tzu Chi volunteers held a blessing ceremony at the Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters in San Dimas. During the event, children donated money from their bamboo coin banks to help others in greater need.
How do you feel when you put the coin into the bamboo bank?
Feel good.
Feel good because?
我有帮助别人。
Traditionally, in Chinese culture, incense sticks are burned as prayer to the Buddha are said. However, Tzu Chi has long advocated the stopping of this practice to protect the environment. Thus, at the Tzu Chi Houston chapter's blessing ceremony, volunteers and members of the public prayed using flowers and fruits as offerings to the Buddha. 8 in the morning, the Tzu Chi Penang Jingsi Hall is bustling with activities as volunteers rush to make 110 vegetarian lunch boxes for some friends. Visiting a suburb of Georgetown, volunteers gift the underprivileged families of Hong Seng Estate with vegetarian lunch boxes to not only show their love and care, but also to promote a healthier lifestyle.
The lunch tasted great. Now that I am eating vegetarian meals, my high blood pressure and diabetes are all under control. My doctor no longer prescribes diabetes medication for me, and my hypertension has disappeared. My doctor says I am healthier than before.
I just try to do things within my ability, just like the Master has taught us.
Heeding the call to not burn joss paper at Penang's Lunar July Blessing ceremony, some local residents were inspired to quit the practice altogether.
People would say they need to burn joss paper to attract good fortune, but it seems burning joss paper only pollutes the environment. I personally think this is an unnecessary practice.
This is such a meaningful event. I hope this blessing ceremony continues, so it may promote the right mindset about the 7th lunar month to more people out there.
Protecting the planet for generations to come, Tzu Chi volunteers' efforts continue to gain recognition in this area. From the Ebola outbreak in Africa to the gas explosions in Taiwan, 2004 is turning out to be a year full of unexpected tragedies worldwide. During these troubled times, one needs to be not only firm in one's faith, but learn to prepare for disasters. In the United States, volunteers from the Tzu Chi Northern California chapter and Tzu Chi Cerritos Liaison Office in California have been helping the public do just that with several blessing ceremonies and emergency response forums.
In response to the various natural and man-made disasters that have made news this summer, Tzu Chi's Northern California chapter held several emergency response forums to help the public be better prepared upon meeting unfortunate events.
When you're trying to put out a small fire, you don't come this close to do it, as the fire is likely to bounce back onto you. We should aim for a distance between 8 to 10 feet.
The volunteers teach how to deal with emergency situations, including how to use fire extinguishers and how to protect oneself during earthquakes. Local media was also there to report on the event.
As Tzu Chi volunteers, we need to reflect internally, as well as advocate the idea of faith and being prepared in local communities, whether Chinese or non-Chinese.
Such actions require great wisdom and, of course, include the idea of protecting life. On this front, Cerritos Tzu Chi volunteers held a blessing ceremony at a local nursing home center to promote vegetarianism.
Vegetarianism is about nurturing a compassionate heart. Tzu Chi is a Buddhist organization, and as such, volunteers will not only carry out relief efforts, but also study Buddhism, of which compassion is an important ingredient.
At the blessing ceremony, more than 300 civilians use sign language to nurture compassion and develop wisdom.
At Hualien's Cultural Creative Industries Park in Taiwan, Tzu Chi's disaster relief equipment is on display until the end of August. People can check out what Tzu Chi International Humanitarian Aid Association and the renowned Industrial Technology Research Institute have cooked up to help disaster victims.
In Hualien, Taiwan, volunteers go door to door to invite people to attend the Tzu Chi Disaster Relief Equipment exhibition. On display is this mobile kitchen which can serve up hot food in a disaster.
I feel that Master Zeng Yan and the Tzu Chi volunteers are truly compassionate and wise. They have incorporated technology into disaster relief.
This multi-purpose mobile bed has helped those affected by the recent Kaohsiung gas explosions find a good night's sleep. As a teacher tries out the bed, she remembers the discomfort of sleeping on the ground when camping.
I can empathize with the disaster victims. They are already worn out both mentally and physically, and yet they can only sleep on the ground. But with this mobile bed, they can get a good night's rest. I think it's wonderful.
Volunteers also help residents of Xiamen village experience Tzu Chi's water purification system, which provided clean drinking water to flood victims in Thailand.
I think it's best that we don't have to use these gadgets at all, that there will be no more disasters. Yet seeing how well prepared Tzu Chi is can help but warm your heart. Really, volunteers have thought of everything.
The exhibition is ongoing at Hualien Cultural Creative Industries Park till the end of August. All of the tools are designed to cause minimal impact to the environment. Hopefully, people will walk away more ready to cope with disasters as well.
As part of a cultural exchange program, Japanese painter Shigeru Tamura is in Taiwan for an art exhibition. While staying on the island, Mr. Tamura also met with Tzu Chi volunteers, to whom he provided one of his paintings as a gift to thank the foundation for its efforts following the 3/11 Japanese earthquake in 2011. Japanese painter Shigeru Tamura sincerely conveys his gratitude to Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Dui for Tzu Chi's efforts after the 3/11 Japanese earthquake in 2011. As a symbol of thanks, Tamura offers one of his paintings to Tzu Chi.
I was very moved by Tzu Chi's relief efforts in Japan.
This painting, in fact, represents a positive force. Whether now or in the future, I believe that Tzu Chi will be able to reach beyond Japan to other parts of the world.
The Tzu Chi Foundation dispatched over 1,000 volunteers to Japan after the 3/11 Japan earthquake in 2011. To express his gratitude, Shigeru Tamura offers one of his paintings to Tzu Chi. In return, volunteer Tsai gives Tamura a thank you card and a Japanese language Jingsi aphorism booklet.
The ocean can be filled, yet the tiny mouth of a human being can never be filled.
Reading the aphorism and nodding his head in acknowledgement, Shigeru Tamura is grateful for all of Tzu Chi's efforts. On August 27, Sakai Tsuneharu, a councilman from Miyagi Prefecture in Japan, visited Tzu Chi Grandu grounds in Taipei to show his appreciation for the selfless giving Tzu Chi volunteers have shown in the aftermath of the 3/11 earthquake in 2011. Thanks to Tzu Chi volunteers' support, the recovery process has been going well. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.